but I can't make you happy if I'm not happy.
Exactly.
So if I got an attitude or if I'm not pleased with anything
but if you're
that
not happy,
doing,
then she's not happy.
Exactly.
Either.
So
then she's not a happy wife.
Right, but I'm already not. I was not happy first. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, family? Welcome to Cam's Corner, and I am here for another tie down and wind down with my beautiful wife, Erin. What's going on?
Hi.
We got some wine.
Yeah, what is this?
We've been on like a little red wine kick.
We have.
This is a Petit Syrah.
Petit Syrah. I took French.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. I gotta do how they be doing.
This ain't bad. It's not that bad. I mess with that.
Peppermint and pipe tobacco. That was how grandfather smelled, but I don't think that was the taste of the wine. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. Now that we got the cheers out the way, coming into marriage, did you have any expectations? What were your expectations?
Like,
I don't know. You definitely had expectations before in our past, so.
Why you have to say it like that?
Because you did.
I don't feel like there's anything wrong with having a standard at which you hope that your situation or your life will evolve into or be. As for expectations in terms of like actual tasks or things that I would have expected, I mean, I think I knew you pretty well to know like the place that we would fall into, like in our marriage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think that we talked about a lot, although, you know, you never really know until you're actually married.
Right.
And things are actually like, that's your life now. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, I knew you weren't going to be cooking. Like, that was something that I came into marriage knowing that would be my primary responsibility in terms of like, you know, in the house. Like, I knew I would have to cook 99.999% of our meals.
Yeah.
But I also never expect to do outside work. Like, that's something that I fully expect you to do. Like, I'm not going out there to shovel snow or mow the lawn or get the mail or anything. So like in terms of those types of things, I believe that we understood those expectations before we even got married. What about you?
My only expectation was the cooking part. I knew I had to eat. Other than that, I don't have any expectations per se. I think I'm pretty easygoing on letting things just flow.
Yeah, I think we both are.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that they're learning that about us. They're like, goodness, what makes y'all tick?
But you're definitely the more of the expectator or whatever. Is that a word?
I don't think so.
Expectationer?
Babe, shut it up. Why would you say that? Why do you think that? What do you think? What expectations do you think that I had
coming in
or have? Yeah,
not really coming into marriage. I think you said it already in terms of we already kind of knew what we were going into. Mm-hmm. We already talked about all those things. I don't think it was any like unknowns or any surprises to come. But I'm just saying based on prior, which don't really matter now.
Right. What you bring your old news up for?
I'm just trying to be messy. But no, I won't be messy. Actually, I can be messy because I think a good... No, I really want to talk about this. I feel like we can talk about money. We can talk about the usual stuff or whatever. You can talk about... I think the usual things like money or sex or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I think not enough people have conversations, at least outside or with their partners, about who they are as a couple.
Right.
So I want to go in that direction in terms of, there's a saying that comparison is the thief of joy. Mm-hmm. And I think now in our present day and like all the things that we have going on with, you got like social media, you got from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter, whatever you want to call it, YouTube, and you see all these different people and you're like, I potentially want to be like them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what you see on camera is probably not, in a lot of cases, not what they actually are. So let's go into what do you expect, or how do you set expectations on becoming you? Well, not you, but us. Like how does a couple become themselves in their relationship to where they're not comparing themselves constantly to who they see, that takes it so far as to become what they see.
Right.
like literally imitating it?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's a slippery slope.
What makes it
Because
slippery?
I think it is a slippery slope for a lot of people. I think that it starts with your own securities. And most people who fall into those traps are not just doing that with their relationship. They're doing that with lots of aspects of their lives.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's just like how I'm always saying, I feel like I see the same posts on social media every day from a whole bunch of people. It's like I feel like I'm living in the twilight zone of seeing the same things over and over and over again, because once somebody posts something that looks cool, then everybody starts to post the same thing in the same way, in the same vibe, and the same aesthetic. And then before you know it, everybody's content looks the same until there's that one person who breaks the cycle and starts creating something new and fresh. And, you know, and so I think it's kind of the same thing with the relationship. It's like you have to be that person who like has boundaries around like what's yours, and
your mind,
you have to be confident in who you are individually, and that shapes how you are as a couple. I think that what makes us such a good match is that we have always just been very individualistic, if that's a word. I was like, let me just keep going with this and see what comes out. I think we've always just been our own persons, like individually.
Yeah.
So it helps when we come together because we're not trying to be like anybody else individually. So that is not even a thought for us as a couple, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and I think it's cool to like have other couples that you vibe with, you know, as friends or whatever, or that you're around, maybe part of your family, but knowing that your relationship is never going to be what theirs is. And for me, it was more like I had to release expectations of my parents, like that our relationship or my journey would look like theirs. Like my parents also met in high school. They also are high school
definitely
sweethearts.
have some similarities.
Yeah, we have a lot of similarities, but it's like, you know, there are certain things that my dad does or did for me that's not Cameron, or he did for my mom, or, you know, when they dated, that my mom passes those stories down to us, and then we're all of a sudden like, you know, well, my boyfriend who's 16 and a half, like, he needs to be doing the same thing that my dad did 40 years ago at 16 and a half. And
you want to go down that road?
I'm just saying, like, those expectations also play a role. It might not look like social media. It might look like generational things that have been passed down, like, without you even really realizing it.
Yeah, that's good. And that's I feel like that's more of a positive way, because there is other ways that's passed down that might not be as good as that, even though they both end up looking kind of bad.
Yeah.
This one looks more worse than the other, and certain depending on who you come from.
Yeah. I mean, I think that helped me have a standard for men, because I was raised by such a great, let me finish. Because I was raised by such a great, like such a great couple, married couple.
Yeah.
That I always knew that I wanted to be married to somebody who my dad liked and my mom liked, obviously. But like, you know, I wanted my person to like care for me in the way that my dad not only cared for me, but cared for my mom, you know? So when I met you, I knew that you had those qualities. And like, it's so funny because my dad and Cameron have so many similarities. Like, it was crazy. Like, when we went on our first date, Cameron played Luther in the car. And I had never been on a date. First of all, my exes didn't drive. So, like, on top of the fact that they didn't have their licenses, like, he played Luther, and I was just like, what? Like, how does a 16-year-old also listen to Luther? Like, that's crazy. Not that I was just listening to Luther, but my dad listened to him, and so
there's nothing wrong with listening to a little Luther.
I mean, I love Luther, but I'm just saying, like, that's you don't find that often, you know.
Hey, listen, you got to do something different, you know what I'm saying, to catch their attention. I caught it and it stuck. You feel me?
Whatever. So yeah, I mean, I think that can look different for different people.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. I think that a lot of focus is like, obviously everything is kind of social and public right now, but I think where you took it in terms of where you come from too also has, at least in our generation, a huge effect on what your expectations can be or possibly will be without you understanding I need my own expectations.
Yeah.
This is a standard that can be set, but I can't take what I think worked here
and try to plug and chug it into my
to someone else who isn't
that person.
That person. Yeah. Again, everybody is different. So, and you're different from your mom too. So it's not going to be, you're not even going to react to certain things the same way that she has to your dad.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I think that was a good point. But also, so I think I wanted to know what's your standards? I don't think I ever known your standards.
I feel like we should do that for another episode.
Oh.
Because like, I feel like that can be its own conversation.
Standards?
Yeah, just like when you were dating, like what were some of the things that you expected?
Okay, let us know if you would like us to do one on standards. We can.
Yeah. See, babe, we gotta separate these topics now. You know, he be trying to throw everything in one episode.
I mean, when you get into a flow or something, I feel like this, honestly, like this is something good for me too, because I get a chance to.
I agree.
I feel like we talk a lot, but sometimes we may not talk about things that we may need to talk about. I don't know,
or that make us dive deeper into certain
who we
things
are
that we don't talk about regularly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's something new to learn. I think that learning your spouse or learning your girl or your guy will continue to make you stronger in your relationship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think in order to last, you have to always be willing to learn. So I think that doing these makes me excited in terms of like, oh, okay, I get to. We ain't never talked about that.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we've ever really dived into expectations. And as for expectations, I think that a lot of people get into relationships or get married and think that their person is just basically stops what they're doing and is just going to do everything. They're basically going to do everything together. Their person is just going to start understanding them with not realizing that we come from two different families, two different backgrounds. Yeah. Like, everything is so different, and really all we should hope for is that at least some of it collides. Yeah. And I think that we obviously do a lot together. I think that you enjoy doing things that I like doing. You know, like you don't make a big deal out of anything, and I also do things that you like doing for the most part. Yeah. But I think a lot of people in general go in, and then there becomes a problem because there's this expectation that she's going to go to every sporting event. And I feel like that's what your friends are for. That's what maybe coworkers are for, or who people outside of your house. Like, it's okay to have some kind of life to where she's not going to want to go to a football game every Friday. I don't do that, but as an example, you know what I'm saying? I can't, if that's what I came in doing, I can't expect her to go to a football game every Friday, and she doesn't even like football. But that's an expectation I think that we set when we get into these relationships or when we get married. Yeah, you expect that person to be every role in your life. Like, literally be everything. And that's I just don't think that's healthy. Fair. Yeah. It's not. And then you still need to maintain your other relationships as well. So yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think that it's important to like have those types of conversations. I mean, I don't think that we necessarily had a conversation about like, what are your expectations of me? I don't. But it was more like through situations you end up talking about like, well, I expected you to call me before you didn't blah 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 blah, or I expect you to whatever when we're on a date, like open the door, or I expect you to blah blah blah, like those little things that I feel like sometimes if they go overlooked, right, like, or if they go unsaid, it just boils up into a bigger thing. Those are the things that we've always communicated, like not always, but since we've been like on the latter on a serious since we were seriously dating and then engaged and blah blah blah. But like, yeah, I think that it doesn't have to be an explicit conversation about like, so what do you expect of me? Like it comes out through certain situations. I think it comes out when you're willing to, like I said, learn, and you're just open to welcoming this person into your life. I think getting into a relationship without being open to those different opportunities for that person to be who they are for you, if you're not open, then I don't think anything will work. Yeah. I think eventually something will crash and burn, and then all of a sudden you hate each other or something like that. Oh, Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what do you think about happy wife, happy life? Because that's also an expectation that I think a lot of women go into marriage having, and a lot of husbands go into marriage thinking that basically they're expected to like sacrifice their entire wants, needs, etc., to appease their wife, and the wife tends to get the whole stick, leaving the guy with very little. And it's just like, I've heard people say like happy house, happy spouse, or happy spouse, happy house, like where it's just like more of a mutual thing.
Yeah, I think that's more so new.
Happy. Yeah, that is. I mean, happy wife, happy life has been around forever. So.
And it still is present today.
Yeah.
I tell you all the time, I think that men still suffer in terms of, like, we still see it today. Like, if you see a guy, I don't know, crying, or he is beginning to express his feelings to someone or whatever, he's either deemed soft or he's like wrong. So now you got women telling men in one ear, you need to open up. You need to do 1, 2, and 3. Then he finally do it, and now he's still wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where happy wife, happy life always stands. Because at the end of the day, like the society that we live in, it's always going to be for, if she happy, then we good. If he happy, he better figure it out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, I think I ain't going to say most of us, but I think a lot of us people go through, well, he's just going to have to figure it out. He got to live through if he's sad or if he got his feelings hurt about something. Like, he can't show any weak moments, because a lot of times women can look at that as, oh, that's not attractive, or, just certain things. So I do think that happy wife, happy life needs to die. I do think that both people need to just be happy in general. I think that women need to be a bit more cognizant of what they're expressing, and then also how they're reacting when a guy maybe does open up. Because I've seen situations to where a guy does it, and then now all of a sudden the girl don't like the man. Yeah, he giving you everything he wants, his heart basically, and now it's like, oh, that's not attractive. Yeah, and I'm like,
you're too nice.
Yeah, and I'm like, good guy, bad guy, which one you want? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I happy wife, happy life.
Well, I think it puts too much on the husband to make it's their responsibility to make their wife happy. Which, I mean,
well, I will say this before you go too. I think that too overshadows women realizing that, okay, you want your husband to make you happy, but you got to show that same energy. Right. Exactly. Like that's really my problem with happy wife, happy life. Yeah. Like there's this huge expectation. Yeah. Like, you better make me happy. But I mean, I do this here and there when I feel like it, basically, and I'm like, yeah. It eventually that gets old. Yeah. I think quicker than a lot of us realize.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I agree. I think it's just, it puts too much responsibility on someone else to provide your own happiness. Yeah. I do think that, I'm sure the saying kind of comes just from when the wife is off, right? It throws off the balance of everything. Yeah. Like an angry woman is just not good. So like, I'm sure that that's what it's rooted in, but it's just too flawed. Like, that's just not something that we necessarily, I don't think that we practice that.
No, we don't practice that.
I think that we do a pretty good job at like trying to serve each other and, making sure that we're both happy. Yeah. And I feel like it's important to cultivate an environment in your relationship that if your spouse is not happy, that for one, you can see that. Yeah. Like, you can pick up on those, you can feel it, cues.
Well, you should be able to. I feel like sometimes people be very ignorant to. Yeah.
Or you should be comfortable with telling your spouse. Yeah. And to me, that's where the communication part comes in, of also not assuming that your spouse just knows, you know? Right. And so, yeah, I think that it's important for both people to just be happy, because without that, the relationship just can't thrive, you know?
Yeah, because eventually she can be happy all she want, but if a dude get fed up.
But I also think it's rooted in the fact that a lot of times, if the wife is happy, then the husband is happy because she's happy.
Yeah, and that's true. Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, okay, if you make her happy, if she stays happy, then everybody else should probably be happy if the wife is happy. If
Right.
she's not, then everything is off.
Right.
So I get it, but it's still
I'll put
not
it to
fair.
you this way. That's true, but I can't make you happy if I'm not happy.
Exactly.
So if I got an attitude or if I'm not pleased with
But
anything
if you're
that
not happy,
doing,
then she's not happy.
exactly.
Either. So then she's not a happy wife.
Right, but I'm already not. I was not happy first. You know what I'm saying? But it always, that's what I mean. It always go back to her.
I know.
So it's just like you can't win out here.
Brothers can't win.
Literally, that's the point. That's literally the point of it, though.
Yeah.
You made him unhappy first.
Now
Now you unhappy because he ain't
unhappy.
happy. But now you only
But
matter.
now it's his fault that you not happy.
And I feel like there's
he not
no. I feel like there's no accountability on that end, and you know, like some things, like I told you back and forth. You know, girls be having friends, and they be like, "Oh, he needs to." Like they be praising the wrong thing, giving advice on the wrong thing, as to where when do women not do anything wrong? Do they not have any play in their relationship?
Yeah, it's always
he wrong. He did this. He did that. You just ain't did nothing. And I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, it's always two sides to the story. But yeah, I mean, I think
everything.
that those are just like some expectations that, you know, I don't think
feel
that
like
we always,
yeah.
A lot of times when we think about certain social issues, we jump to social media. But there are also things that have either been ingrained in society, like happy wife, happy life, or ingrained in our family dynamic, like your parents' relationships or whatever. Yeah. That you just carry without even knowing that you're carrying those expectations when you go into your relationship or marriage. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's just, you know, I think when you understand that for y'all, then y'all can go however far you want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're stuck on coming into something and taking expectations from the outside or from, like you said, from your mom or your dad, then it's probably not going to work for your situation. Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10, that guy or that girl knows something totally different. They also may have saw something totally different from their parents.
Yeah. Okay, this is my only / last question. Do you feel like when you hang out with other couples that either you tend to, or I guess we tend to like mimic or not mimic? I mean, I feel like I can't even ask this question, right? Because we don't do this. But okay, how about this? Okay, do you feel like when people are around other couples that they feel the need to act a certain way in order to like make themselves seem like there's something that they're not? Like for us, like we're not like a super lovey-dovey type of couple. Like when we're out or like hanging out with friends and stuff, we might hold hands when we're like walking, and that's usually initiated by me because it's either slippery outside or like I need to just like
be safe.
You know, yeah. But like we're not just super like, oh my gosh, babe, like, you know, like we're not super like that. So, but we've hung out with couples that are a little bit more affectionate publicly or whatever. So like, do you ever feel a sense of pressure, I guess? Or do you feel that a lot of people feel like they have to put on when they're around other couples?
Do I feel pressure?
I mean, I know you don't feel pressure, but
I don't feel pressure. I mean, I've just never been like that. I'm not. I mean, I feel like when I'm out, first of all, every setting has a vibe. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we are a little bit more clingy than other times, but it's still not to the extent that's uncomfortable for us.
Right.
But most cases, I feel like we just do what we do. I think it's just as simple. I do think that some people may overdo it. I don't know if they're trying to impress somebody or they're just like that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't care. But to me, I'm like, I mean, I'm just trying to have a good time. If I'm with y'all, I don't want to see you all in your girl mouth all the time.
Right.
Like, y'all can do that at the crib or whatever you got going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like going out with other people, it's like, I feel like we all should be vibing, having conversation, you know, getting to know each other further. Like,
right.
I think every relationship always needs to be built. Like, there's always ways to get stronger in whatever relationships that you have. So if it's with friends or I don't think we've really been out with others who've done that. Not anyone like our close friends or anything.
Yeah. No. But I think that it can be a pressure of you feeling like, oh, I need to make us seem like we're.
Nah, I feel like first of all, I feel like men should definitely be secure with what they have.
Yeah.
Like I'm 100%, I'm 150% positive. Where's she going? Like I ain't got nothing to prove.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? But no, seriously, I don't have anything to prove to another woman, another man. Like I don't care. She's literally not going nowhere. She came here with me and she leaving with me. So she live in my house. Where is she gonna go? It's just simple.
Yeah. So I don't think it's any.
I think
it's weird when people are like.
I do think people do. Some people have that pressure. I think that they may. I've been in situations like that where it's like I'm going to impress you and make you think that. I think naturally some people think they just have to do that. Mm-hmm. And to me, like I'm not really about.
It's just easily see-throughable.
Yeah, it's like you're not even like that. I be thinking sometimes I'm like you're not even like that.
Yeah, it's like
why are y'all doing this?
Yeah, you can tell when people have a natural chemistry versus when they're trying to impress or just trying to
show
hard.
Out, just trying to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I think expectations can be positive. We just have to make them positive.
Mm-hmm. And you have to say them. You can't have the expectation that your partner knows your expectations.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And we all have some type of expectation and standard. But again, we'll have the standard video on the next time.
Mm-hmm. Spread this content out.
So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you don't have any expectations for me. Unless maybe some high ones, I don't know. Maybe
maybe it's just like
strong
give us a
video. Genuine.
Give us an Instagram post once a week. Maybe that could be an expectation.
I have
that
not
they have
posted
of you.
on there in so long. But I don't know.
Just
I do think that she Anyway, if you rock with me, you rock with that. I'll see y'all next time.
Bye.